Hey, it's Liv. Let's see what's coming up on today's show. The CSIRO's Extinction Warning. We meet the winners of this year's Poem Forest Prize. And tiny baby polar bears. But first, don't forget to hit subscribe. The CSIRO says many of our native plants and animals are in trouble, and it's because of one big reason: pests. Yep, a new report released today says feral animals and invasive weeds are causing $25 billion worth of damage every year. And unless we do something about it, we'll lose some of our country's most unique wildlife forever. Here's Joe.
Excuse me, I want to report some crimes against the environment.
All right, what's the nature of the crime? Ha! Get it? Nature.
This is no laughing matter, because there's a lot at stake. According to this new study from the CSIRO, more than 80% of threatened plants, animals and habitats are in trouble because of invasive species, or pests. In fact, it says the damage pests cause is worse than both habitat destruction and climate change.
Okay, so what do the suspects look like?
Well, there's a lot of them.
Pests include things like feral cats, foxes, rabbits, cane toads, pigs, and weeds, just to name a few. Since European settlement, at least 100 unique native plants and animals have gone extinct, largely because of these pests. Experts say that if nothing changes, there'll be a wave of native species extinctions by 2050.
Just like with climate change, we're at a turning point where we need to get on top of the invasive species problem, or it'll spin out of control.
But it says careful animal and land management, education and new technologies could all help make a difference.
Right, crime reported. We'll get straight to work.
South Australia opened up its borders overnight and interstate travellers have been pouring in. Border restrictions were relaxed at midnight for the double-vaxxed coming from New South Wales, Victoria and the ACT. While there are still some rules and restrictions, these travellers say they're excited to see loved ones again.
I'm very excited to go to my sister's graduation. It's been almost like since January this year is when the last time we saw her.
I am super excited.
The winners of this year's Poem Forest Prize have just been announced. The national competition calls for Aussie kids to send in poetry all about nature, and more than 5,000 kids took up the challenge. That's not all, because organisers teamed up with the Australian Botanic Garden to plant a tree for each poem they received. Here's a quick look at some of the winning entries announced today.
I walk a well-worn track from the far lands to the sea. Each step a foot in history, the path of Bungaree.
Cut your hand against the weathered sandstone and take it into the sea. Wade in the warmth of the melting Antarctic breeze. Watch as she leads you further from the shore, suffocates you in seaweed, sinks you to the ocean floor.
Buds of the walrus are swollen and red, furry flying foxes are plenty overhead. The cool winds now disappear, all signifying Noongar is here.
Leela caught up with Sully, one of the judges, who's also an award-winning slam poet, and Wani, who won in the year 7 to 9 category.
Poetry in general is just such a great platform. I've been using it for actually just under a decade now, since I was very young, 7 or 8.
Humans are still willing to believe we can achieve much more than we can perceive to conceive.
Now, you were in a very important seat for this competition. You're a judge. What was that like as a very young poet yourself, judging other young poets?
I was blown away. It was just such a high standard, and the overall skill set, not just for age, but for any poets in general.
There stands the gum tree, older than the time invented by ornamental clocks and gold watches that know nothing of the nature of time.
So first of all, congratulations. Were you expecting to win with your poem Gumtree?
No, not at all, because originally, when I found out, I was actually walking home from school and I was so shocked because I had read all the other shortlisted entries and they were so good, so I wasn't expecting it at all.
Why did you decide to enter and why did it mean something to you to get involved?
Originally, I wasn't going to enter because I've never really written a nature poem before and that was the whole thing of the competition. But I decided I should just enter anyways because every entry plants a tree. So I really like that. So I thought whether I win anything or not, you know, it's still a good cause and I just wanted to be part of that. So yeah.
And finally, to some very cute babies at a German zoo. Rostock Zoo in northern Germany has just announced the birth of 2 very adorable polar bear cubs. Zookeepers say Mama Bear Sizzle is doing a great job looking after them, which is just as well because they won't be able to stand up on their own for a little while yet. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and before you go, don't forget to hit subscribe. Bye!